Prepare yourselves for a battle of epic proportions between two titans. Feast upon their voices and revel in their words. This is Dueling Ogres.
And welcome to episode 89. Thank you for joining us as always on this less fun than previously indicated Sunday evening.
You just did 15 minutes of vocal exercises. You couldn't get through the first
You cut me off.
Sentence.
Why did you cut me off?
All right, go ahead. Start over.
Sunday evening, Earth date, a lumber. God, now I'm completely thrown off.
A lumber.
A lumber.
Nah, it's a lumber 38.
It's a lumbering beast. That's what I am right now. I'm a lumbering beast.
Yeah.
September 11th, 2016. I'm your host, Remington Hitchcock, and with me, as always, is my asshole of a ghost, Brandon Full. Say hello, asshole.
You're not redoing that?
Nope.
You're keeping that as the
Keeping
intro.
the whole thing.
So if somebody, this is their first episode
This is their
listening,
first episode.
they heard that and immediately shut it off.
Yep.
They were just like, nope, not this.
Yep.
We typically don't fuck it up that early.
Or that badly.
We do most of the time, but not to that extent.
It was too good to cut out.
Lumber 38th.
Lumber.
So,
Yes.
we haven't recorded in a while.
We haven't.
I was off working at NASA. I think I've mentioned previously I was hired by NASA
Right.
For some of my great ideas.
Right. For
So-
some of your great space capsule
Space
ideas.
Pies.
Yes.
I think
Space
was the
Pies.
one I was selling big on.
Yeah.
And they bought it. So I am now a multimillionaire.
Mm-hmm.
And space pies are a thing. I just have to dot a few I's, cross a few T's, and knock off that motherfucker who owns Eskimo pies because it's too close to my brand.
Okay, gotcha.
So that's what I've been up to.
I've been playing a lot of WoW.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, yours sounds more interesting. Tell me more about that.
I can taste the sarcasm coming out of your mouth.
No, that's
It's like
just...
you're spitting sarcasm into mine.
No, that's a byproduct. It's the smell of what we use in the space pies.
Oh, okay.
It's like the KFC secret. Did you know the KFC secret got leaked? The secret formula?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, there was...
What was it?
I didn't look up and see what it was.
Okay.
But basically, they were doing like an interview with some of the family of Colonel Sanders and the creators of KFC. And there was a news interview talking to one of the family members, and they were flipping through an old photo album of like, oh, here's us when we were growing up younger. And the news camera was focused on the interview, but you could see the photo album. Somebody went frame by frame, and in one of the pages of the photo album was a photo of the original recipe of the seasoning they use.
Okay.
So the recipe is now out there.
The secret formula is human souls.
It's just more chicken.
It's just...
See, what we do... I can't even do a Georgia accent. I'm not even going to try.
A what?
A Georgia accent.
A Georgia.
Southern gentleman.
A southern
We'll
gentleman.
put more chicken on top of
I
the chicken.
do declare, Brandon, I've got the vapors.
Oh, God.
No? Is that not doing anything?
No, it's... I don't know if I should be turned on, but I am. So...
Sorry.
Is this the podcast?
This is what happens.
I don't know why I'm continuously surprised when it becomes this.
Brandon has become an early morning riser,
Which
doesn't work for me.
It doesn't work for me either. It's out of necessity.
I just refuse to work anytime before 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I actually didn't get to sleep until something like 9 o'clock this morning.
Jesus.
I laid in bed, tired and too tired to sleep, I guess.
Were you reading or anything?
I was watching a documentary. Actually, I fell into the YouTube trap, is what happened. Where did I start off? I think I watched a couple of Gene Wilder interviews, and then I actually moved on to Marty Feldman.
I don't know who Marty Feldman is.
Yes, you do. The cockeyed...
Are you Corey Feldman?
No, Marty Feldman, the cockeyed guy in Young Frankenstein.
I've never seen Young Frankenstein.
Fucking really, Brandon? Get the fuck out of my house.
Okay.
How have we been friends this long and you haven't seen one of the best Mel Brooks movies ever?
I don't I can think of a handful of times I've ever watched a movie with you.
I mean, not even with me. Just like I expect that all of my friends have seen almost all of the Mel Brooks movies.
Can I be honest right now?
Yes.
Can I be honest without being judged for it?
No, but you can be honest.
I don't really find Mel Brooks movies that funny. I don't know if it's entirely my sense of humor, really.
I don't understand.
I mean,
Gene Wilder mostly wrote Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the humors are similar, but it's more Gene Wilder's humor than Mel Brooks.
Well, I mean, and I like Spaceballs. That's really the one Mel Brooks movie I can say stands out as something I've seen over and over.
Let's rewind this a bit. What other Mel Brooks movies have you seen?
Spaceballs 2? Did they make that yet?
Well, they made it into a cartoon and it was terrible.
They made a Spaceballs cartoon?
Yes.
Like recently or when?
No, not even recently. It was probably 6 or 7 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
How was it terrible?
It wasn't good.
Well, I didn't need the definition of what terrible means. I meant
it wasn't.
Did it try too hard or did the jokes fall flat?
I mean, you're right in saying that Mel's sense of humor is a little different, and it doesn't work as well in a newer age because he does a lot of gags that are referential of the time.
Yeah.
And in older movies and stuff, that still works because all of that stuff was really relevant at the time. But the stuff that was more relevant now isn't as funny, I guess.
Well, and I mean, I can really base it off of Spaceballs, which I like, but there are parts of Spaceballs where I'm just like, ugh, like 20-minute stretches where it's just not entertaining to me. I think I've seen History of the World Part 2.
Uh-huh.
But it's been a long time. And I don't dislike Mel Brooks by any stretch. It's just, it's very hit or miss for me on the humor.
Right.
I think personally, the team that does it better is the team that does the Naked Gun movies. Or did the Naked Gun movies.
Yeah.
I think that they managed to capture that sense of referencing. Capture that sense.
We just sat here and done 15 minutes of...
Well, I was going to say referential, and then I lost it halfway through, so I said referencing.
Anyway, again.
I think that they do referencing pop culture stuff better.
Right, yeah, I can see that. So going back to the Mel Brooks stuff. Anyway, Marty Feldman. I fell into the YouTube trap and ended up watching a documentary on Marty Feldman, which then somehow led to, I saw a video that I wanted to watch for woodworking. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then I saw another one that was a longer piece, probably 30, 45 minutes of Japanese style woodworking where they don't use like screws and stuff. It's just joint work. It's just joinery. So yeah, that's where I ended up leaving last night.
Was Japanese woodworking.
Japanese woodworking technique.
You're a strange guy, right?
Yep.
Why don't you quit your job and become a woodworker?
Because I'm not very good.
You got to practice.
Well, yeah, but I can't just quit my job and start practicing.
I mean, you guys have to still... This house isn't paid, right? You guys are paying on this house for a while.
Yeah.
Can you put all of the financial burden on your girlfriend? So you can just stay
Lately,
here.
I tell you what, it's been pretty close to it. Ha-cha-cha-cha-cha.
Spend that time...
I have not been getting a lot of hours at work.
Yeah. Well, I say... Fuck that. And go to Japan.
Yeah.
And find a Japanese woodworker, like a sensei.
Right.
And start doing that.
I mean, I could go to New York. It's closer.
Yeah, but you think there's Japanese senseis in New York?
Yeah, that's where the video was taking place.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, really, I'm just going to get straight to the point. We need somebody to go to Japan to try to sell space pies to the Japanese NASA. JASA.
JASA. That's so dumb. It's so dumb. I'm done. I lost it. It's all gone.
You lost it with JASA.
I'm just working through Japanese and aeronautical.
Jassa actually came first, too.
Don't know why that's so funny. Oh, God. I've been playing World of Warcraft.
The new Legion expansion, right?
The new Legion expansion, yes.
Do you want to talk briefly about how that is?
My experience so far has been fairly positive.
Okay.
That's usually the case in the launch of an expansion. The trouble comes with the long haul. We ended up playing Warlords of Draenor, the previous expansion, for, I don't know, 2.5 years before Legion dropped.
Mm-hmm.
Which, for the amount of content that there was a really long time to wait.
Of just being done with Warlords and kind of having nothing new to do?
Yes, exactly. Even people who, raided casually had ample time to have completed all the raids and have even built their gear up to, heroic level.
Yeah.
Almost. I don't want to say epic level because epic is super, super hard. But,
I mean, do they add enough stuff in there to justify coming back to it? Like, if you play Warlords and you felt like you got your fill and you turn it off, you're just like, okay, I'm going to stop playing for a while. When a new expansion drops, I mean, they pull a lot of people back in, right?
Yeah, they do. The trade district has been pretty full. I mean, there's always people milling around. One of the things that I've really noticed is, my guild has almost died. Like, we've got 70 members maybe, and we don't have anybody to help with recruiting and stuff because I was the second in command even of our guild, and I've just been too busy to dedicate time to rebuilding the guild.
So what happened? Just people dropping off?
Yeah, with that expansion taking so long, people just quit playing. And then after so many months, we have a policy where we just drop people out of the guild.
Oh, okay. That seems like a policy that is hurting you.
Well, yeah, you would think. He may want to change it for sure. But at the same time, Drac is an old-fashioned guy and hates change. So I don't know, he might not.
Oh, is he the head of the guild?
Yes.
Sounds like he's running it into the ground.
No, nobody's running it into the ground. It's just that people don't seem as apt anymore to create that community. They do still exist. There's still pockets of it that exist.
Do you think that's just your guild, or is that overall?
Well,
kind of
like
feeling?
I said, that's just an instance. I can only speak from what I'm seeing from my guild.
Yeah.
But, even still, if I'm watching trade chat and stuff, there are some people that are asking for help and this and that and the other, but it doesn't seem as frequent, and usually the answers aren't as friendly as they used to be either.
Yeah.
Because fucking the internet is trolls anymore.
Whenever I was playing Final Fantasy Online, whichever one that 14 or 13, whatever one it was.
Right. I think it's its own entity.
Yeah, it is, but it's considered a number. They numbered the online ones.
Okay.
And then like Heaven's Word was an expansion. Anyway, when I was playing that, I got invited to a guild like the first week, just randomly running by, and somebody invited me into one. So I joined just to see what the benefits were. And as soon as I joined, the head of the guild was like, hey, welcome, whatever my character's name was. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Any questions you have, feel free to ask, blah, blah, blah. I didn't know fuck all about the game. So I'm playing, and I'd hop on there and be like, hey, where do I go to get Warlock stuff? Blah, blah. Just questions that probably are a little annoying. They were newbie, but
yeah,
sometimes it would just be silence in guild chat. And that kind of stuff was like, I ended up leaving the guild after about another week.
Right.
Because like, people would be having conversations, and I'd try to jump in, not even talking about my day, but just talking about like, hey, I just did this. It was pretty cool. You guys want to do a raid? And just silence.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of the same, really. Most of the guild has been reduced to just people who are still in there and like 10 of their alts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So there's maybe, I don't know, 20 actual people in the game or in the guild.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was listening to some YouTube news channels a couple days ago on my headphones, and it just auto plays kind of through a couple different channels that I watch, and then it'll kind of do, you know, the recommended videos and autoplay.
Yeah.
And I'm listening, and suddenly I hear your voice coming out. And it was like a 2 or 3 year old video you'd made about how to use the guild
C3
bank or something. or how to use the
lottery.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
You sound way different. I mean, you were I'm guessing using like a snowball mic or something.
Yeah, probably.
But you sound super tinny.
Yeah.
But you had like 1,000 some views on it or something crazy.
Yeah. And it's a dated video. I mean, C3 has been completely revamped. I should probably make a new one.
Well, I'm amazed that you didn't let that fame go to your head. You stayed so down to earth about the whole thing. And that's what I appreciate about you.
There was like 3 comments. Maybe if I had 1 million comments, I'd be more.
You'd constantly be dropping it into conversation.
Remember that C3 video that I made? Yeah,
Yes,
it was pretty popular.
Yeah, I know.
I've had over 1 million hits on it.
Have you done anything since?
Nope.
Why would I need to?
I just enabled ads on the video, and I make
You're rolling around on a Segway.
I make $47 an hour now.
I'm out of here, losers.
People really want to know about C3. It doesn't even look like that anymore.
So is the story for Legion any good? Is there much of a story to it?
Well, there's always story. In fact, there's always so much story that it's hard to keep track of. Mm-hmm. Ginger and I are both playing through. The new class was a Demon Hunter. And Ginger and I are both playing through Demon Hunters together.
See, this is what confused me. I saw a picture of the Demon Hunter, and the Demon Hunter looks like a demon.
Right.
So are they a demon that is a hunter, or do they hunt demons?
They are night elves who have... I don't know if they actually drank the fell blood or not. They have imbued themselves with demonic power in order to use it against the demons.
Oh, okay.
So there's this constant internal struggle for them of trying not to be overcome by the demon power, but they use that power to fight the Legion.
I bet those characters are super fucking annoying on RP servers.
I bet. I'm sure. Well, it's like every time you talk to an NPC or something, you know they usually have just a little soundbite that they play.
Yeah.
It's like, I have lost everything.
Is that really what?
Yeah, a lot of them. So even the NPCs are a little annoying. And I was like, I have lost a puppy. Or I have given up everything for this. And I'm like, I've given up a puppy.
The same people who were wearing ball necklaces, listening to Slipknot, and wearing My Mother Says I'm Special shirts are the people who are playing Demon Hunters now.
Oh, Ginger and I are neither of those.
Are you? Well, yeah, but you guys aren't.
Fuck you, Brandon.
See, that's exactly the kind of thing a Demon Hunter would say. Typical Demon Hunter.
The class itself is a lot of fun, I would say. I'm playing the tank. There's a tank version and a DPS version. And
do you pick it on creation, or as you level up, do you just spec yourself one way or the other?
Yeah, it eventually tells you to make the choice. You know, which one do you want to go? Do you want to go Vengeance or Havoc? Havoc is the DPS and Vengeance is the tank.
Okay.
Havoc has a little bit more mobility than the tank version of it. The tank is still pretty mobile, though. And I think that's really what they were focusing on, was having a relatively mobile class.
Like speed-wise?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, there's not a whole lot of, like, casting bar time, stuff like that. I've got these little sigils that I can drop. So, like, it stuns the target for 6 seconds or something, so I click it and drop it, and then it pulses for a few minutes before it goes off like a bomb.
Oh, okay.
So, I've got 2 or 3 of those. One's like a Fellfire base, which is just a damage one. And then we've got the stun one, and then the other one is something else that I don't remember.
Did you start at level 1, or did you take the automatic jump to 90, or whatever it is?
The Demon Hunters themselves start at 100.
To even start playing them?
Yeah. It's the same concept as when they dropped the Death Knight.
So you can only get to 110, right?
Yeah.
So you have 10 levels to play them as?
Generally, in an expansion, 5 to 10 levels is all you have.
Yeah, I know. But it just seems... It kind of sucks that they introduce a new class and you get 10 levels with them.
Do you want to play through a whole... Like, I mean, you quit after level 46, I think. Mm-hmm. Because you were bored of the grind.
Yeah. Yeah, but...
He gestured.
He broadly gestures at Brandon as if his point is made.
Incredulously. God damn, why are we even
Incredulous
talking?
igloos.
We need to not take a 2-week break.
Yeah, I know. It's all a shit show anyway. It doesn't matter. None of this matters. Let's get out of here. Let's go upstairs.
No, keep listening, guys. Keep listening. It gets better. It doesn't get any better.
It doesn't get better.
It doesn't.
Did you follow at all the people unlocking shit on WoW, on the newest expansion, like that big monster? I know I asked you about it in chat a couple days ago.
I was trying to see exactly what they did, but I hadn't played through enough of the game to really know where they were or what they were doing. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, neither one of us have got to level 110 yet. We just hit 105 last night. So,
from what I understand, they found like this underwater area.
Yeah.
And in this underwater area, there was a hidden boat. Yep. Or there was a boat and there was a hidden crack in that boat. And then inside the boat, there was another hidden cave through some kelp. So it was like double hidden they had to find.
Right.
And inside there, they found like a ball or something that seemed real out of place. And when they activated it, it made a noise or something.
Yeah.
So then they started exploring around the area and found there's like some ogre or orc or whatever in this area you can go talk to. He's like a hunter.
Right.
And on a table, he had a bunch of cups and food pieces that made a basic map of the area. And there were little dots of food on the map showing you where all of these different balls were. So they had to have people go to all of these different spots and they had to activate them in the correct order. There was like 5 of them and they were all super hidden. They had to hunt for them. And once they activated all 5, it gave them like a message that whatever monster name has been awakened. And then the monster is there now.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, it's also nuts that they got it done within the first like week and a half. They found this and figured it out.
Yeah, that is super, super crazy.
But I was reading up on it because I love that kind of stuff in video games. That kind of hidden, super hidden Easter eggs.
Yeah. It's something that I always love reading about, but I never do myself.
Yeah. There's people that just try to map all of the world.
Right.
And will just walk through the mountains and try to find hidden caves because they found stuff like this before.
Yeah, and that's something that, like, if I'm having a particularly bored night, I will do as well. Like, I'll just
kind of wander.
Meander, yeah. Well, because you can find some really interesting things. The problem is that despite the fact that I actually have a pretty good memory for maps and stuff, or, like, places that you've gone, WoW is pretty big, and it does get difficult to remember where you were at. So, like, if I find something really cool and I say, oh, Ginger, you know, there's this really cool thing over here, it's not like I wrote down the coordinates or anything.
Yeah.
So, like, if I come back next day and she's like, oh, hey, where was that thing? I was like, right around here somewhere.
Between some mountains.
Between some mountains that look like boobs.
Have you found anything cool like that? Like cool little hidden stuff?
They started putting chests, like random treasure chests throughout the world. Mm-hmm. That, like, you get one time and then they're gone. They don't respawn. They're just, like...
Each player gets one?
Yes.
Okay.
So, basically, like, they have this list that's populated and they tag it to your character and they're like, okay, as you get these, check them off.
Okay.
Is essentially what it would be on the back end of the code. With the Demon Hunter, you get Demon Sight, which makes it even easier to see these treasure chests.
Yeah.
So, like, you pop into Demon Sight and everything gets kind of misty and hazy, but in a dark way. And bad guys show up, like, red. Red. And then,
is there a cooldown, or do you just turn it on and it just...
No, there's a cooldown. I think it lasts, I don't know, like...
4 hours.
10 seconds or something like that. And you move slower as you're doing it. And then the treasure chests and stuff turn up bright purple.
When you said you move slower, you did like a classic cat burglar sneak. Do you actually cat burglar sneak?
You do. You do cat burglar sneak. You're like...
Ugh. Does it play piano notes as you like... Boom, 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 boom?
It should.
Yeah.
Might have to put together a video for that. I'm not going to do that.
Pitch it to Blizzard.
Yeah, there we go.
So, other video game news?
Yes.
Since we're on it?
Yeah, go for it.
The big thing this week really is Sony had their conference the 7th.
Yeah.
And announced the PS4 Slim and the PS4 Pro.
Okay.
PS4 Slim has the same hardware as the regular PS4. It's just a smaller model. I think they may have upgraded it slightly, but nobody has really paid attention to the PS4 Slim because the PS4 Pro was announced and it has a price point of $399. It comes out November 11th and they doubled the GPU in the system.
Oh, wow.
So people have been talking for a while. Microsoft has Project Scorpio, which is their next system, and PlayStation had, I think it was called the Neo is what they were calling it. The PS4 is the Neo. So
Gotcha.
the Neo and the Scorpio are going head to head in what is considered like a half console generation, because the Scorpio is not Microsoft's next console.
Okay.
Just like the PS4 Pro isn't Sony's next console. It's still called the PS4.
But they're both basically new consoles.
Basically. Like the PS4 Pro has, like I
Essentially
said,
the same hardware, but a faster GPU.
all new hardware. Faster GPU. It outputs in 4K.
Okay.
The Xbox One S that was released a couple months ago outputs in 4K.
Does it? Okay.
Yes. So the PS4 Pro now outputs in 4K. It has 8 gigs of RAM as opposed to the PS4's 6 maybe or 4. I'm not sure what the PS4 has, but it's an upgrade in a lot of ways.
Okay.
And I was super excited when I saw this announcement because I don't have a next gen system. I just have my PC.
Right. Yeah.
So I was all in. I was like dropping my $50 to reserve it at GameStop and pay it off and get it in November. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Completely turned around already, and I'm going with Xbox One S.
Oh, really? Why is that?
There's a lot of reasons. People are very irritated with Sony online because of this announcement. Because from what Microsoft has announced of the specs for Project Scorpio, which is very broad right now,
Right.
Project Scorpio is going to be 2 or 3 times better than the PS4 Pro is.
Okay.
The PS4 Pro is not going to be a direct competitor to Project Scorpio because there's that much of a jump.
Huh.
Also, one of the big things that they said when they gave this presentation was 4K. You're going to have 4K video outputs in 4K. It's going to be fucking awesome, guys.
Right.
Afterwards, they had a trade show where journalists could go and try it out.
Yeah.
And while the video is way better, it doesn't actually output in 4K. It emulates 4K. I mean, nobody I know owns a 4K TV. I'm probably 2 years easily off from being able to afford a 4K TV between saving up and the price dropping.
Right.
So it doesn't really matter that much, but it was kind of deceptive the way they said it.
Right.
One of the things that the PS4 Pro is doing...
But how many... I mean, that's just it, though. How many of the games that are released for the PS4 are 4K compatible? So, like, you'd have to upscale.
Well, that's one of the things the PS4 Pro is doing, which is cool, is that any game that already exists for the PS4 Pro that is not 1080p, because it's just... The game is too intensive on the system for the system to actually render it in 1080p.
Right.
The PS4 Pro is going to upscale all of those to at least 1080p.
Gotcha.
So the issue is they've said that they're not going to give people who have the PS4 Pro an advantage over people who have the PS4, which means that they could make a game that takes advantage of 4K.
Right.
For the PS4 Pro, but it also has to be able to play on the original PS4. They're not going to release exclusive titles. So one of the things that it can do is, say you're playing the newest Call of Duty on the PlayStation 4.
Uh-huh.
Big for multiplayer is frames per second.
Right.
If you're playing a first-person shooter, you need consistent frames per second.
Yeah, absolutely.
Most consoles lock you in at 30 frames per second.
Right.
If you're playing that same Call of Duty on PS4, you can render the graphics faster, so you could have higher FPS.
Right.
Because you have more RAM and GPU processing power.
Right. You'd be running at 60 frames per second.
Yeah.
Instead of 40.
Sony
and
has said...
actually, I think games run at 60 frames per second as a rule.
No, you would be surprised. 60 frames per second is ideal, but a lot of games on the newer systems run at 30.
Huh.
30 is kind of the console standard for a lot of stuff.
Well, I guess that's true because TVs still... I mean, you can up your refresh rate and stuff for TVs as well, but a lot of TVs, even the LCDs, still run at 30 frames per second.
Yeah.
Like, they haven't really upped that standard a whole lot. You can get 60 frame per second TVs, but still.
Yeah, and they're just so fucking expensive.
Yeah.
But Sony has said to not give the PS4 Pro players an advantage specifically in first-person shooters. Playing that same Call of Duty on the PS4 Pro is going to look nicer, but they're going to throttle you so you only get as many frames per second as the original PS4 players.
Right.
Yeah. So that's pretty much been the big news as far as that goes.
Right.
Oh, there's one other thing with the PlayStation. Sony has kind of shot themselves in the foot this week.
Okay.
Fallout 4 came out for Xbox One and PS4 both. And PC, obviously.
Right.
Bethesda games have a huge modding community online. For PC, you can mod the shit out of Bethesda games, and it makes them fantastic. Bethesda builds their games specifically. They release software to mod their games. They like people to mod them.
Right, yeah.
Because it gives the game an extended life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mods were released on Xbox One a month or so ago for Fallout 4.
Yeah.
And there was a little bit of issue with that, but they got it sorted out, and the mods are cool. Sony had not released mods yet. It was one of those things where they were like, we're trying to get it sorted out with Bethesda. We're trying to get it to work. But just stringing along, and nobody had said anything.
Right.
Yesterday, either yesterday or the day before, Bethesda released a statement basically throwing Sony under the bus and was like, we've been trying to work with Sony to get mods. They're not working with us. They're not giving us anything we need. So unfortunately, mods are not coming to the PlayStation systems. So mods for Bethesda games are not going to be there.
Wow. That's funny.
There was a lot of online anger about that.
I'm sure. And it's interesting, the fact that Bethesda Studios has gotten big enough to be like, you know what? Fuck you, Sony.
Yeah, well, I mean, people were blaming Bethesda. People were saying, like, why does Bethesda hate Sony? Why are they keeping this all locked up for whatever reason?
Right. And it's not even that. It's just Sony, I think, is notoriously hard to work with. From the sounds in the different industries. Yeah. You know, you get that background chatter of what's going on in the deep darks of the industries. Mm-hmm. And you know, Sony's got movies and they've got video games. And
they do snuff films.
They do snuff films.
They do those things where you crush a cat.
But they always want to lock everybody out of everything, it seems like.
Well, and
it's almost like iPhone. It's like Sony is the Apple of movies and video games.
Yeah.
Of entertainment.
Apple announced the iPhone 7 on the same day. Yeah, who gives a shit?
Nobody, that's who.
The reason that Bethesda gave, from what I understand why they can't do mods, is Sony has like a proprietary lock on the sounds that they use and the way they render textures for the PlayStation. Uh-huh. And it's copywritten and they protect it very closely. Right. They guard it. So to do mods, they would have to release a version of that to Bethesda that Bethesda could tinker with to allow mod makers to put stuff on PlayStation. Right. Well, Sony won't release them. Right. So where Sony has said before, we're trying to work with Bethesda, what it comes down to is just Sony saying, we're not giving you any of this stuff, figure it out. And finally, Bethesda said, there's no way to work it. Without this stuff, you just can't do it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that they could reverse engineer it, but I mean, that's time and money that Bethesda doesn't want to put into it.
Well, and who knows if Sony even would let them.
Yeah, exactly. Even if they figured out their special sauce,
they'd
be like, oh no, you can't use it still because it's our special sauce, and it's even though you reverse engineer it, now we're gonna have to sue you because you figured out our special sauce.
It's really weird that they keep calling it their special sauce.
I think that that's probably what they would call it. I think that's what the CEO of Sony would call it.
Like, not even speaking in public, but in those high-pressure marketing meetings with executives. Yep. They've discovered
you will not have my special sauce!
Big line of cocaine.
Yeah.
Japanese cocaine, I guess, because they're Japanese.
I mean, to their credit, you know, you do have to protect your proprietary stuff.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
For sure. But at the same time, we seem to be continuously moving towards these share and share alike ideas. I mean, there are a lot of people out there who put out, you know, hey, I figured out how to do this. Here's how you can do it. You know, there's the maker movement. There's stuff like that. It's obviously not that big of a deal if Microsoft and Xbox is saying, oh, yeah, here, you can totally take a look at our code and your modding communities. Oh, yeah, we'll work with you, and it's all working super fine and dandy now.
Yeah.
there's this old world mentality, which, I mean, thinking about it, really coming from a Japanese society, you know, where that kind of thing is like you protect your bread and butter.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's been, you know, martial arts. They wouldn't teach whites from martial arts, like karate and stuff, for the longest time.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. And, a lot of those martial arts, even, you know, the Chinese ones as well.
Yeah.
They wouldn't teach outsiders the martial art for the longest time.
Well, I know that Japanese culture is very protective of keeping their culture undiluted.
Right. And to their credit for that, or in that regard, you know, just in that general regard, there's still a lot of beauty to be had, you know, especially in the Japanese society, because it's kind of this untainted look into the past.
Yeah.
But, you know, there's this line that should be drawn as to, you know, how long you have to keep things under wraps. Like, just in a societal norm. They have this long haul for how long they'll hold on to information before they share it with others.
Yeah.
And, you know, the world moves a whole lot faster than it used to, so...
Well,
do you get what I'm saying?
No, I get what you're saying. And
I know it was a little drawn out, but it won't be that bad on the podcast.
No, I got you. I think the issue is that Sony isn't releasing this stuff to everybody. Right. They're giving it to Bethesda so Bethesda can work it into a way that people can use it.
Right.
So it's not even like Sony is releasing it to everybody, like, okay, here's how it works.
Yeah.
They're giving it to a company that would get slapped with a multi-million-dollar lawsuit if something actually leaked, you know?
Right, yeah.
Bethesda would have to sign all the paperwork forever to get this stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the issue partially, too, is that whenever Fallout 4 came out and the mods came out on Xbox, Sony themselves said, we're working on it, it'll be out soon.
Yeah.
And Skyrim Remastered comes out November. Mm-hmm. And there's not going to be mods for that now.
No.
So a lot of pre-orders are going to get lost from that.
Yeah. I think, I honestly think that it probably has to do with the lawyers versus the coders on that issue internally. Mm-hmm. I would say that the coders are probably like, yeah, I mean, you look at everything else, lawyers, and the lawyers are like, no.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
Wagging their fingers.
Lawyer things.
You nerds need to get your shit straight.
Adjust my wig. Lawyer, right? They wear the wigs.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
In Japan, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, here's a good segue. Speaking of Sony...
Want to repitch that?
Yeah, I got nothing there. Did you see the Batman animated trailer? New movie coming out? Batman Return of the Caped Crusader?
No, I didn't.
Releasing digitally October 11th and November 1st on Blu-ray combo pack.
Okay.
It stars the original voices of Adam West, Burt Ward, and Julie Newmar.
Wow.
It's an animated Batman movie with the original Adam West Batman.
Huh.
Yeah, I saw the promo trailer for it, and it's Batman and Robin strapped down into a giant TV dinner on a conveyor belt being pushed towards a fire. Talking about like, well, this is it again, Batman. And Batman's talking about how we need to eat dessert, and dessert is this new animated Batman movie coming out. And then he uses what looks like applesauce in the TV dinner to somehow melt the rope tying him, and he breaks free and then frees Robin, and they jump out right before the TV dinner goes into the giant oven.
What the shit is this?
Yeah.
Okay, I have to find it. What's it called?
Batman Return of the Caped Crusader.
Of the Caped Crusader. Batman and the Return of the Caped Crusader. The teaser.
Batman.
It's starting to heat up, Batman. But we do smell delicious.
The smell of death, Robin, I'm afraid.
Guess this is our last meal, Batman.
Then this is one time I would advocate starting with dessert.
I suppose it doesn't matter if we ruin our appetites now.
No, Robin. Dessert is a new Batman film.
Holy spoiler alert! Starring us?
Correct, Robin. We're back this fall at an all-new feature-length animated movie, Batman, Return of the Caped Crusaders.
Holy entree, Batman! What foes do we face?
Joker, Riddler, Penguin, and Catwoman. On Earth and in space.
Wow! With the voices of Adam West, Burt Ward, and Julie Newmar?
True. And a good crime fighter always keeps his fans informed. Stay tuned, citizens, to the Batmobile.
Huh. That's a thing.
So what do you think about that?
One of the comments is, "Ha, Adam West sounds like he's about to die."
Jesus.
The response is, "He's like 400 years old. Give him a break."
He does sound a little...
And then a third response, "He was going into a giant oven like someone's TV dinner. Of course it sounds like he's about to die."
He did sound very muted.
He did. Like when he said to the Batmobile, I mean, there was...
Oh, yeah, he said there was no
sell-
excitement.
He didn't sell that one at all.
He didn't.
To the Batmobile.
To the Batmobile.
To the Batmobile. Great Scott, Robin!
I think it looks interesting, though. I mean, I don't know if it'll be good.
Right.
If the voice acting from the trailer is any indication,
Yeah.
it's going to be real...
Real hard to get through.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to use the word campy, but campy's good with that Batman.
Oh, yeah, totally.
But yeah, if campiness for that would be really overplaying it.
Yeah.
Holy smokes, Batman, you know, like that.
Yeah.
Instead of Adam West sounding like he's taken his sleepy time tea for the night and then remembered he had to record something. I guess I'll go in there.
I guess I'll go in and record it.
I'm who now?
Who am I playing? Batman again?
Ah, Jesus.
Haven't they had enough of this?
Other comic news, Alan Moore
Uh-huh.
is retiring.
Okay.
He announced that he is done doing comics after the few that he has finishing up on.
Gotcha.
He's done with comics. He said that he wants to explore maybe directing
Right.
or writing a novel, etc., etc.
I mean, an Alan Moore comic, though, isn't it pretty much a novel?
Yeah. And I
So
really,
it's not a huge stretch.
I haven't read anything Alan Moore in a long time. I didn't even honestly know he was still doing stuff.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a big loss for me. But I know a lot of people are big fans of Alan Moore
Right.
when he's not being crazy and angry about things,
Yeah.
which he is. Even in, let me see if I still have it pulled up. I don't know if I do. No, I closed it. But even in his announcement of quitting, he had to take a jab and say, modern comics are kind of shitty. I'm so sick of Batman. Because that's pretty much Alan Moore. And everything he talks about how comics used to be great when he was writing, and nothing has been invented since the late 80s when he was writing. Everything's the same and very hacky.
Yeah. I'm not going to say that he's wrong entirely.
I don't know. I think there's a lot of good stuff going on in the indie comic scene.
Yeah.
That's where
That's where everything's going to be, really.
yeah.
That kind of artistry has been lost, and I mean we can blame it on the cocaine in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything in the mainstream has really become pretty formulaic, and I mean there was this really big boom for there to be an algorithm, a formula for everything. That's why we still have reality TV. You know, it's just that became the thing that people could just melt into and not think. Just watch people do stupid.
Yeah.
And there's that same algorithm for everything. And it sells every time. It's a safe bet.
Oh, yeah. They find something that sells and then they make a million other things that are very similar to it.
Yeah.
That's been going on for a long time.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But to that end, there isn't as much creation, I feel like, on a larger scale. There's still creation happening, and it's happening in small pockets like the indie industry. Like the indie industry as a whole. So there's still a lot of things being pushed and created and improved. But it used to be that companies were willing to take the risk and throw money at what would essentially equate to an indie idea to see if it stuck. Mm-hmm. They'd throw money at a wall and see if it stuck. And that just doesn't happen much anymore.
See, I disagree because you look at something like the Whopperito, which is a Whopper in a burrito shell.
Is that a real thing?
Oh, fuck yeah, it is. You haven't heard of that?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, they sell it.
I don't follow a whole lot of Burger King news. So.
Oh, really? You're not on BurgerKingNews.org?
No, I'm not on
the Burger Feed is what they call it.
The Burger Feed. I'm not on the Burger King news list now.
They call it the broiler. Yeah, they took. It is called a Whopperito, and you can get it here.
Huh?
Check it out. It's a Whopper in a burrito shell. That literally is all it is they took the ingredients of a Whopper and put it in a burrito shell and rolled it up.
Genius!
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like, I don't think it's genius. I think it's fucking stupid. Although I still really want to try one.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. Because it's just going to be a Whopper in a burrito shell. You know?
Yeah.
But Burger King is the example of the company that's just throwing shit against the wall. They need to start funding indie comics. They need to start working with Alan Moore. That's what needs to happen. See, that's how I'm wrapping all this together.
Yeah.
I'm folding it into a
burrito shell.
A burrito shell of knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah, because weren't they doing like
tortilla? I believe is the word that you're looking for.
Tortilla, burrito shell, whatever. Who cares? It's not my America. But weren't they doing like Cheetos stuffed with mac and cheese or something fucking crazy just recently?
Yeah.
They were doing like mac and cheese wrapped in Cheeto dust and then fried.
Yeah.
So it was like you were eating a Cheeto with mac and cheese inside.
Which, isn't that just the Doritos fucking stuffer guy?
Yeah.
Isn't that essentially the same thing?
Yeah.
Only maybe without pasta. Did they have pasta in there? Was it mac and cheese?
I think it was mac and cheese.
Okay, so
I didn't try it.
Pasta.
I really wanted to try it.
Yeah.
But there was that moment where my self-respect was just like, you can't go down this road, dude. Whenever you go to Taco Bell, you already get a Dorito taco. You can't eat a deep fried macaroni and Cheetos. It's just...
Listen, Brandon, you only live once. You need to quit questioning yourself on that because those things, they don't last forever.
I just feel like if I start eating ridiculous Cheetos wrapped mac and cheese from Burger King, that's like a road in my life that a fence gate falls behind me as I take the next step.
How much self-respect can you possibly still have left?
I mean, what I do have is hanging on. And it's like, we're not going anywhere.
You just got to throw it out the window, man. Listen, I haven't had self-respect for years, and I'm doing just fine.
Are you?
Yes.
You're doing better than I am. And you have no self-respect, really.
There you go. You just got to throw it all into the wind, man. You got to paint with all the colors of the wind of your lack of self-respect.
I did.
You got to paint the colors of Cheetos into macaronis.
I made potato cakes a few nights ago.
Words coming out of my mouth, interrupting you every time.
I think you've inspired me, Remington.
Potatoes, go ahead.
It was that last one. And that's something that the listeners miss is your broad sweeping.
My broad sweeping arms as I'm
like you're in a stage
wildly,
show.
Yes. Jazz hands everywhere. You made potatoes.
I made potato cakes a few days ago.
Latkes?
Yes. I took them to work with me yesterday, and I had a couple potato cakes and some corn that I'd made. And I went on lunch, microwaved them up. Or no, I didn't even microwave them.
Yeah.
I took them out to my car because I was going to go through McDonald's and get a drink.
Yeah.
And once I was there, I just decided I'll just sit here in the car and eat instead of going back into work because we don't really have a lunch area.
Yeah.
And I'd forgotten a fork, so I was
at NASA.
Scooping up, at NASA. So I was just scooping up the corn with my hand and eating it like this. And I go back into work after I'm done in my NASA polo, and I have just bits of corn clinging to my shirt. So I think that's about the level of self-respect that I still have left. That I wasn't ashamed that I picked off the corn and threw it in the trash can. Because I tried to use the potato cake as a spoon, and it didn't work properly.
Didn't work out for
all of this was cold. It was in the refrigerator. So thus, this was all close to ice cold.
What kind of device was holding it?
A big Tupperware container.
Okay. I mean, you probably could have put that on the engine block and then...
We had a microwave at work. I didn't need to...
Well, I mean,
put it on the engine block and drive around like I'm a trucker on Thanksgiving.
I mean, hey, whatever works. It's better than eating cold latkes.
Nah, I didn't really mind.
Nah, you didn't figure you would.
Yeah. Because I'm known for my love of mashed potatoes.
No, because you have no self-respect.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Wow.
Fuck you, Remington.
this suddenly became shit on Brandon episode.
Speaking of things that I wish...
I think the last episode, you shit all over me, so...
Yeah, I think I did.
Yeah.
I can't even remember, but I would just assume any episode you say, wasn't that the one where you shit all over me?
I think
it would be a safe bet that I would say yes.
What's your next story then?
But speaking of things that I don't care about at all,
that you would
and
shit
wish
on?
would die forever.
Okay.
What'd you think of Shanghai Noon, Remington, and Shanghai Nights?
I don't want to go as far as to say that Jackie Chan can do no wrong in my book, but Jackie Chan can do no wrong in my book.
Okay. A bold statement.
I'm a bold man.
Yep. This is a movie where Jackie Chan beats up an entire orphanage, and it's a documentary.
What? What is this? Have I fallen this far behind on my Jackie Chan news?
Oh, yeah, he's got a big vendetta out against orphans now. I don't know what happened. Something in the last couple years.
Uh-huh.
He was trying to go across the border or something, and there had been like a bunch of orphans had stacked themselves in his luggage, and he got caught at the border getting between another country or something.
Yeah.
So he's just been going fucking karate chopping them ever since.
Huh.
Like state to state, country to country. It's nuts.
Wow.
So they made a documentary. I can't remember that documentary guy's name. What's that guy's name? Documentary guy. He did Bearman. He's like really weird. Werner Herzog. Werner Herzog.
I have no idea who that is.
Werner Herzog? I'm not saying it right. Herzog.
No.
He did Bearman.
No.
He's like talks in a really strong accent and makes like really beautiful documentaries.
Well, I would assume his name is Werner Herzog.
Yes.
But no, I've never seen any documentary that he's done that I'm aware of.
Oh, he does really good documentaries.
Okay, cool.
Anyway, he did this one. It's all gone.
Okay.
It's lost. Just cut it all out.
So my statement stands that Jackie Chan can do no wrong because he's in a Werner Herzog documentary, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
That was a test, though, because actually what's happening is they're
Right.
making a third Shanghai movie.
I kind of figured,
Yeah.
seeing as how you asked me about the Shanghai.
They're making
franchise.
Shanghai Dawn.
Okay.
Did you? Because I remember in high school you liking the Shanghai
Oh, yeah.
movie.
Dude, I love Jackie Chan movies. I don't care how bad they are. I don't. Because Jackie usually rescues it for me. Because he's a bit of a perfectionist.
Yeah. As far as his acting or just his
well,
martial
just-
arts goes?
No, I mean, he's done some bad stuff. He has.
Like real life bad stuff? Did he murder
What was the movie with the kid and Jackie Chan played like the Monkey King, and then it was Jet Li is the other guy. Oh, what is that movie called?
Was it a Werner Herzog movie?
Yeah. The Forbidden Kingdom. A discovery made by a kung fu obsessed American teen sends him on an adventure to China, where he joins up with a band of martial arts warriors in order to free the imprisoned Monkey King. So,
I have no idea.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's because it was not a great movie at all. The Tuxedo, it was not a particularly good movie.
Isn't that a tuxedo that gives him his fighting abilities?
He is the driver for an international British spy.
Okay, all right. I'm
The spy
so
gets
far.
kidnapped, I think, or something. But the tuxedo is, your quintessential Bond gadget, where it makes you basically a superhero. I mean, it's essentially an Iron Man suit in a tuxedo.
Wow.
Yeah,
That sounds pretty stupid.
it was. It was a terrible movie.
So does he know martial arts before he gets in the tuxedo?
No.
So is he doing like, whoa, like the tuxedo's making him do punches and stuff?
Yes. Yes, 100%
I've gone a little.
of that.
I've gone a little bit back towards that's kind of cool.
The medallion wasn't good.
It's about a medallion that when he wears it, he becomes a superhero.
Pretty much.
Really?
A Hong Kong detective suffers a fatal accident involving a mysterious medallion and is transformed into an immortal warrior with superhuman powers. Yeah, there's a lot of bad that he has done.
So
there was something that I was going to see for the tuxedo, and I don't remember what it was. Oh, I wanted to see. I remember.
Is Shanghai Dawn a rare movie that will get you out to the theater to see it?
No, I won't.
No?
Are you kidding me?
Jackie Chan can do no wrong. But I'm not going to go fucking to the theater or anything, though.
If I want to watch a Jackie Chan movie in the theater, it's going to be either one of his earlier ones or one of the ones. I mean, I'm pretty sure he's still making movies in China. Usually, I think it's as a director or producer. And then he'll also, help out with the fight choreography as well. But I think that the stuff that he does here for the States is really goofy and campy. And I mean, he was a big fan of like Buster Keaton and what was the other silent movie star?
Red Skeleton?
Okay, that would be Red Skelton and not Skeleton.
He was a skeleton?
No, it would be Red Skelton.
That's not even a joke. I genuinely, until just now, could have sworn it was Red Skeleton.
No.
You can search Red Skeleton and it comes up.
No, you can search Red Skelton.
Oh.
And it'll pop up.
Oh, that sucks. Red Skeleton's a way more badass name.
This is Red Skelton on the Ed Sullivan Show.
Two guys up at the funny farm. One guy said, he says, we can get out of here. The other guy says, we can? He says, yes. He says, how? He says, I've got a big flashlight. Tonight we'll come out to the wall, I'll throw the light up against the wall, and you climb up the beam. The guy said, you really think I'm nuts, don't you? I know what you do. I get halfway up, you chat it off.
So yeah, he wasn't even a silent movie era.
Man, I don't remember if I've talked about it before, but in The Killing Joke, I talked about it a couple episodes ago.
Yeah, uh-huh.
The animated movie and the comic also. At the very end of the comic, when there's the confrontation between Batman and Joker tells that joke.
Yeah.
And it's so good. Like,
Yeah.
I got chills when I read it.
Yeah.
It's perfect for the scene that's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. It really is. But yeah, Jackie Chan, back to Jackie Chan. There's a lot of respect that I have for just, he takes his craft very seriously, even if it is a bad movie.
Yeah.
So he is not usually the thing that makes the movie bad. He does his best every time, regardless of the content matter.
Well, this movie also has Owen Wilson in it.
Right.
And Owen Wilson is a dumpster fire of a person.
Aww. It's really cruel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a celebrity. They don't have feelings. It's okay to say those things.
He's going to be really upset when he listens to this.
That really upsets me.
He's an avid listener, right?
Yeah. Well, fuck him. Don't like him.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't know.
What do we
We don't even really need to go into it.
Okay. All right. You don't like Owen Wilson.
I don't like Owen Wilson personally.
Okay.
The choices he's made. No, I'm done.
Okay, all right.
No, I'm just not a fan of him as an actor, really.
Right.
I don't hate him. Yeah. I don't see a movie and think, ugh, Owen Wilson's in it. The movie's ruined for me.
Right.
He's not a draw.
I agree. He's been in some funny things, but as far as it goes, you could replace him with anybody else in my mind. And
see, I don't think so.
Well,
I think he does that thing that some actors
but
do is he is just Owen Wilson in most movies.
Oh, yeah.
He plays his sort of character.
Right.
Even Matthew McConaughey, who has become kind of a joke at this point, has a lot more range, I feel like, than Owen Wilson does.
Wow.
Well, I mean, Matthew McConaughey was in that movie about the cowboy that gets AIDS.
Yeah.
And
that's
is
true.
selling the Mexican drug to
That's
cure it or
true,
something.
yeah.
And I haven't seen it, but he got a lot of accolades for that.
Yeah.
I can't really think of anything Owen Wilson has done that has received accolades.
Certainly not Shanghai Dawn.
Yeah.
He's not going to get any accolades from that.
I guess he was good in The Life Aquatic, but he still was just Owen Wilson.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I got you there. I see where you're going with
Yeah.
it. He just plays Owen Wilson.
he just
as something.
he doesn't excite me as an actor.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking for our last thing,
Yeah.
do you want to discuss the Tick Amazon pilot?
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't talked about that.
Yeah, we haven't. I'm a little rusty on it now. I did watch it.
Yeah, I'm a bit rusty too. But what are your impressions looking back? We watched it when it was released a couple weeks ago.
Right.
And since we haven't recorded, neither of us have seen it in probably 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So going off of that, what are the impressions you have 2 weeks later about it? What stands out to you?
I think they're trying to run and okay, so first of all, it looks like Amazon released 3 different trailers.
Yes.
And basically
pilot episodes.
Or pilot episodes. And the idea was that people needed to vote on them to decide what actually got picked up. Mm-hmm. So we may not even see this version of the live action Tick anymore.
Yeah.
Unless it gets, shopped around and sold to someone else. The things that stand out to me is the dichotomy of kind of seriousness versus the absolute insanity of the Tick. Like, there's almost like they were playing too close to real life for this kind of comedy series.
Yeah.
And then like the Tick himself just skirts reality.
Yeah, I thought that's the same thing. It was such a weird dynamic, such a weird choice that you would have the Tick in his giant blue suit looking
Right.
ridiculous as the Tick does.
Yeah.
And a scene with him sort of saying weird things, but not as weird as I remember them being. He was more like, destiny's coming for us, friend, and not the Tick in the cartoon, and more so in the Patrick Warburton one, which I know it isn't fair to compare it to. He spouts way more exposition.
Right.
Just excellently worded for how stupid he is. And I know this was a pilot, but he was way more subdued while also being the Tick. And then it would cut from that scene to like the one that stands out to me is Arthur in the taxi with his sister. Just a straight up talk about like, are you taking your medication, Arthur? Are you hearing stuff again? It was strange.
Yeah. I mean, those particular scenes like that one itself, in the cartoon or something, it would have been oversold a little bit because it's a cartoon. So it would have been just enough adult humor, that an adult would have enjoyed it more. And a kid would have been like, oh, take your medicine. I don't know, but okay, funny, haha.
Yeah. No, it's like almost sad piano music.
Yeah.
When he gets out of the taxi and looks at her, I mean, I felt a little like, man, poor guy.
Yeah.
And that's probably what they're going for, is setting him up as, is he kind of crazy? Is he not? Who knows?
Right, yeah. And I think it's an interesting play on it. I think I'd have to see more episodes to see how much they stuck to it.
Yeah.
I think as, Arthur gets the super suit, the further that goes along, will it get a little more campy? Will it get a little more, I think they're going to try, I think that they would try to keep it grounded in a little more reality. It feels a little grittier, not even grittier. It feels more produced.
Yeah.
Than the live action series a few years back.
And I was having a hard time
like those were
not comparing it.
Yeah. Well, the big difference between those for me is those were set on a soundstage, like the old one.
Yeah.
That was all soundstage,
It was shot like a sitcom.
Backdrops and apartments built onto a soundstage all happening in one big place.
Yeah.
Whereas this one definitely felt more like it was happening in the real world. Mm-hmm. Which I liked. Going back to the Tick and his expositions, I think that, again, you'd have to give it a couple episodes to give him more room to it, because there was a lot of things that they were shoehorning in there.
I mean, clearly they were hammering in the Destiny angle.
Yeah,
they were hammering in. Destiny's going to be the thing. It's going to be the driving force. Tick's always going to go back to it. That's what he's going to say to Arthur.
I mean, we've got the Destiny thing, but we also have we've got Arthur. We've got his struggle that was seemed to be the main crux of the pilot itself. The relationship between him and Dot. The introduction of the bad guys.
Yeah. The Terror I thought looked really cool.
Yeah. I think they didn't want to give too much to the Tick because there was so much stuff that they had to kind of be like, these nods, Ben Edlund dropping in these nods, because I think Ben Edlund is smart enough to know that you don't just want to be like, here it is, remember this.
Yeah.
I think he's just trying to really drop in the subtlety of some of the things that, you may remember. So it'll start your brain working about the Tick again. Yeah,
you're right. And as a pilot, you can't really judge a show completely by its pilot.
Right.
But at the same time, they put that together as a package. That's the elevator pitch for the show.
Yeah.
So you can sort of judge it. But yeah, you're right in that they couldn't have just gone balls out with the Tick being crazy and hilarious.
Right.
I wasn't a huge fan of him, honestly, as the Tick, even in the lines he did deliver that made me laugh.
Really?
Yeah. But again, that's something. I wasn't a fan of Patrick Warburton as the Tick when I first watched the first of
Oh, really? Because I thought he was a fucking perfect cast.
It took me into the second episode that I watched, because I got the 6-pack or 8-pack or whatever it is one year for Christmas from my mom.
Right.
Where she buys around Christmas time DVDs on Amazon that are 30 cents. She's just I'll buy a shit ton of DVDs for Bo. Here you go.
Right.
So yeah, I got into the second episode before it really hit me. It's like, I love this. It's fucking great.
Yeah.
So I went in comparing the new one to it in the sense of, okay, well, it's not going to be as good as that.
Yeah.
So that was on me a little bit, but yeah, I don't know.
Well, that's like comparing the original live action to the cartoon.
Yeah, and I didn't watch the cartoon, so I've heard the new one is closer to the cartoon than the Patrick Warburton one was, as far as how the Tick acts. Anyway, would you agree with that?
I don't know, because I watched a lot of the animated Tick series.
Yeah,
it was definitely one of my favorite series. So, kind of hard to get a read on that, I would say.
With just being one episode.
Yeah, exactly. Because I have this litany of episodes to compare it to.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, although I'd love to see the live action do a chair face.
That would be cool.
I'd be very interested to see how that gets approached if it were to happen.
Totally randomly, there is a Skyrim mod where you can play as Chairface as your race and play the entire game as Chairface. But fully 3D rendered high def texture chair.
That's
as Chairface.
That's hilarious.
There were a couple laugh out loud moments in the Tick, and I can't remember them because it's been a while now.
Right, yeah.
The one that really stands out for me, though, that was a mixture of laughing and kind of this is a weird direction for the show that I'm not sure if I like or not, is when he goes into the warehouse after Arthur leaves.
Yeah.
And is taking down the guys, and they're just unloading machine guns in him, and he's laughing.
Yeah.
But laughing in a really sadistic almost way.
Yeah, it's very
He's not laughing ha 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 ha. He's laughing I'm about to tie you down and have my way with you laugh. It's a very weird laugh that he had.
Yeah, it is a very borderline sadistic laugh.
Yeah.
For sure. I like that after Arthur leaves, where he's just walking back and forth, just trying to weigh in his brain what Arthur told him about subtlety.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, nope, fuck it. Yeah, there are a lot of parts in there that I'm remembering that are just snippets. Him and Arthur interacting with each other in the apartment. When he wakes up, Arthur wakes up and the Tick is just next to him. I mean, that was very cartoonish.
I really do like the Tick as a character.
Yeah.
Overall.
Yeah.
Where he's going around and he keeps trying to pull shit off to open up to a secret lair.
Yes.
That joke fell flat for me.
Oh, really?
That was a little but
I thought.
Well, he does.
I thought it could have been sold a little bit better, but I also think that was honestly the suit getting in the way.
Yeah, well, I've heard that guy who is playing the Tick is a great comedian.
Yeah,
but I just feel like his timing was not good as his delivery of lines with the Tick. I think that's more what stood out than anything else. It just felt like his delivery was weird and off.
I think his little soliloquies were spot on. Honestly.
Yeah, it felt to me too much like he was just reading them.
Right, but I think that's kind of how the Tick... That's always how it felt to me.
Oh, really?
From the beginning, from the get-go.
That it's not coming from his heart?
No, I still feel that it was coming from his heart. I feel like he believes in the things that he's saying, but I honestly... And I may be completely off on this, but I feel like I had read somewhere that Ben Edlund had said that everything that comes out of the Tick's mouth could be put onto a fortune cookie fortune.
Oh, okay.
So, and I may be completely off on that. Maybe that's just something that I made up. It's very possible. But that's how I feel. Like, that's how I've always gone in to listening to the Tick. His actual speeches.
Yeah.
If I go into it saying everything that comes out of the Tick's mouth is going to be something that I could put on a fortune cookie, it always sells.
Okay.
And if you act it in a way that you make me feel like the character believes in what he's saying, which I think that I feel like Peter Serafinowicz really delivers the lines like the Tick. I feel like he believes. That the Tick believes in what he's saying.
Yeah.
And so even if they are campy and short, they still feel like they ring true.
Okay. I'll have to see if I can find some original Tick comics online to read. If anybody's uploaded a PDF or two.
Yeah, and that's
read.
just like, I have never read any of the Tick comics.
Mm-hmm.
So all of my experience comes from the cartoon, the first live action series, and this one.
Yeah.
So I don't know the differences between the comic version and then the film versions.
So what's your final thoughts on it then? Good, bad?
I'd like to see more of it.
In the incarnation that it is now?
Yes. I'd like to see at least 2 or 3 more episodes of it to really get the chance to wrap my head around it.
Any changes you would like to see? This just being a pilot, obviously it's not entirely indicative of what the show would look like.
Right.
I'd like to see a little more humor added to Arthur.
I'd like to see... I don't necessarily think that I need to see more humor added to Arthur because he's kind of the straight man, but I think less of the soul-crushing devastation that accompanies Arthur.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They really... Yeah. I mean, they sold it.
Yeah,
and
the actor himself.
I love that actor. I've never seen him in anything, but I mean, I was sold on him immediately.
Yeah. He does. He plays Arthur, but he plays him too well. Like, that's what I feel like. He's like too real.
Yeah, well, I mean, from what I've seen, like, Arthur was unhappy with his job and quit to become a superhero, but he did it because he had this sense of, like, I want to be a superhero. Yeah. I hate my life and I want to be something more.
Well, no, it wasn't even
to be.
It's not even that. I mean, he's trying to prove that the Terror exists still, that the Terror wasn't killed.
Yeah, I mean, in the original, like in the cartoon and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
He just had this sense of, I want to be a superhero and I'm a schlub. And
which was really instilled in him by the Tick.
Yeah, because he didn't
spouting his destiny mantra.
He didn't even exactly want to be a superhero.
Yeah,
like he wanted to be something more, but he's kind of, from what I remember from the cartoons that I have seen, he's not always on board. He's just kind of like, Tick, I don't know, what are we doing? Yeah,
either that or he's questioning, the Tick's logic on it. He's kind of the voice of reason for the Tick.
Mm-hmm. And when you have him as
he makes the Tick question, and I think they did that in this new live action series as well. When the Tick is pacing back and forth, Arthur, there is this immediate connection between the two.
Yeah,
there really was. I mean, and it was just this immediate acceptance as well. Like the Tick immediately accepted Arthur's take of use subtlety. And then when the Tick shows up at Arthur's apartment, it's almost as if they had been friends forever.
Yeah.
Where he's just like, Tick, will you please watch what you're doing? You know, stuff like that.
And the Tick immediately is on board with Arthur showing him, like, I think the terror's back.
Exactly. And I think that to some people that would feel like it's misplaced because you don't immediately put your trust into somebody like that. But that's the entire point of that.
Yeah.
Is to say they are literally driven together by destiny, so they immediately accept each other to be counterparts for each other's eccentricities.
I agree. So I know that sounded dismissive of the I agree.
No, you're fine.
Because I was going, but I get what you're saying, and I do agree with a lot of it.
Yeah. All right. So, do we have any shout-outs this week? We're going to go ahead and wrap this up.
Shout-outs this week. We have Viscount Terry Irvin, who commented from 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And said that a girl magically appears in the recording studio, and you both sound less than excited, vacillating between bored and depressed.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. It was just my girlfriend.
Yeah, I was just pretty.
And then she commented and said, "Greedy as a pig."
Yes.
From Snatch.
Yeah.
Greedy as a
that
pig.
was the whole thing there. Just snatch
it.
5 minutes, Turkish. It's 2 minutes, 5 minutes ago. So that was the only one we had. So if you have any questions or comments, please hit us up. This one was, I know that we've been off for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And the one before this, we were off for like a week and a half or 2 weeks on that one as well.
It's been 2 weeks between
I
last two
am
episodes.
sending a mic home with Brandon. So we can have a little more. That's just it. Brandon working at NASA really takes up a lot of his time.
Yeah, I mean, the commute by itself is nuts.
Yeah, going all the way out to the space station every day is really trying for sure.
Yeah.
And expensive.
Yeah, but I mean...
Which is why you're getting paid minimum wage.
Yeah,
or a little over
unfortunately.
minimum wage.
A little under minimum wage.
Got to pay for that jet fuel.
Yeah.
that solid state fuel.
But I do get a lot of polo shirts. I don't want to downplay the polo shirt aspect of it.
Gotcha, yeah. So if you have any questions or comments or you'd like to hear yourself on air... Oh, speaking of hearing yourself on air, I had forgot to tell you this entirely. Dominic Cooper called us.
Okay.
Dominic Cooper as in
the
Preacher.
actor?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Uh-huh, yeah. He called us, weirdly enough, from Stephen Hines' number.
Uh-huh.
I don't have it queued up to play here, but basically Dominic Cooper said that he completely...
Can you not cue it up? Is this a joke? I mean, is there an actual recording of it? Yeah. There's a literal recording?
Yeah.
Pull it up. I want to hear Dominic Cooper. Why do you look confused?
I mean, okay, if you want me to pull it up, I'll pull it up.
I mean, if we got a call, we got to play the call. And somebody like Dominic Cooper, that's a pretty big get.
Oi, Remington, this is Dominic Cooper. I play Jesse Custer. I got a question for you, bleeding wanker. Who do you bloody think you are, letting the noble name of Stephen Hines utter from your dirty whore mouth, you strumpet? I just want you to know that I told Stephen that if he wanted to have a go at getting into Ruth's knickers, he was more than a man than I will ever be, and he would kick my arse. So fuck you, Remy. Goodbye.
You wanted it. So I gave it to you.
I mean, I would hope for a nicer call from Dominic.
Yeah, me too.
For him reaching out to us for the first time.
Yeah.
But he knew the number.
Yeah.
He knew you.
Uh-huh.
Didn't mention me, which
No.
is good. And bad, I guess.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to kick my ass.
Yeah.
He didn't call me a wanker.
No, he didn't.
And I'm
I think it was wankers. I think it was plural.
Oh, well, that's just how they say it in wherever nebulous area that accent was from. Dominic Cooper has.
That's that very non-regional British accent, semi-British accent.
It was like if Dick Van Dyke's Mary Poppins fucked Australia, is what that accent was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, that's his natural accent, so who are we to judge?
Yeah, I know. So yeah, we should probably get a hold of Stephen Hines and let him know we're sorry because we don't.
Yeah,
want
I did.
Dominic
I told him that apparently. Hold on, let me pull up the conversation here.
So Dominic, if you were listening, I'm sorry for whatever was said. Remington is not sorry though.
No, I'm never sorry for anything that I say. I never regret anything.
He's never regretted anything in his life. He's still wearing one of those 90s multicolored windbreaker jackets.
Yeah.
Does not regret it.
Nope.
Hey, what do you think about when you sold off your Microsoft stock in 1971 for 5 cents a share, Rem?
I think that was a very good decision, and I made a pretty penny off of it.
Oh, because that guy gave you that one really shiny penny, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Ooh, pretty.
I responded to Steven. I said, it's totally weird that Dominic Cooper would call me from your number, but apparently it's totally okay for you to hook up with Ruth. Just thought I'd pass it along. He said, wow, that's weird. I've heard that Dominic can hack cell towers. Anyway, here I come, Ruth. And I also said, I guess it's been doing the Texan accent too long because his native British drawl was a bit spotty. So, yeah, sorry, Dominic, I guess.
Yeah. So you can give us a call at, what's the number, Remington?
Yeah, you can give us a call at 978-DU-OGRES. That's 978-386-4737.
And you'll be in good company with famed actor Dominic Cooper.
Yes. Who is defending to the death Stephen Hines, apparently. Yeah.
StephenHines.org. I think that's his website, right?
I think so, yeah. Plug for Stephen Hines. Why does he not have it? Stephen, you need to list your website on your actual info, buddy. Like, it's there, but it's not showing up in the... Yeah, it is StephenHines.org. You need to make that front and center, buddy. You need to sell it. Always drive people to your website. Because it still has that awesome block for Dueling Ogres on there. I made a GIF for that, but he couldn't get the GIF to work.
I mean, that's why he's a writer.
I mean, his GIF works on our website.
Yeah.
So he made that, I think. I'm pretty sure.
No. Writers don't make GIFs.
Do they not?
No.
Is that because they pronounce them as GIFs?
Yes.
Okay. What am I doing? I'm fucking ending the show, right?
Yeah.
You can also reach us on Twitter at Dueling Ogres, email us at duelingogres@gmail.com, or leave a comment on the Facebook page, or even below the episode on our webpage as well, which you can go to at duelingogres.com.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure to check out our website for articles pertaining to some of your favorite geek news. Mallory was back, and then she went on a cruise.
How many goddamn cruises does she go on?
Right?
She's on cruises a lot.
She's constantly taking vacations. I have no idea how she can manage this.
Yeah.
When she's supposed to be riding for us.
I've never even seen a boat.
I don't even know what boats are.
I don't know what boats is.
Yes.
And she's on one.
On all of them.
It's some kind of animal.
She's driving the cruise boat.
Miss
From the last
Boatsy.
thing that I saw. She was driving the cruise boat.
Did she steal a cruise boat?
I think so. I think
if it
she
goes
may have
under
killed the
50
captain.
knots.
It'll explode?
Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's all kinds of articles on there.
Yeah, there are a few articles on there for sure. And if you're interested in writing anything, we'd love to have you. Just send us an email at bloggers@duelingogres.com. Really anything you want to write about, anything you feel passionate about, just send it our way, and we'll let you know if we'll at least post one article from you. For sure. And then we'll let you know if we'd love to have more. And we'll probably say yes.
Yeah, we are not very discerning.
No. We don't judge as long as you don't judge us.
And we could probably, if you write a couple, hook you up with Dominic Cooper.
Yeah, we could probably do that as well.
We're clearly in touch with him, so.
Well, he's in touch with us. Be sure to leave us a 5-star review on iTunes because we've really earned it.
Yes.
Or find us on, you know what, I'm taking out TuneIn, Stitcher, and Pod Directory, and I'm replacing it with Podbean, iHeartRadio, because we are now available on iHeartRadio.
Oh, we are?
Yes, and I also signed us up for Satchel.
What the fuck is Satchel?
The thing that I posted on the Podcast Consortium.
Oh, yeah, that thing.
Yes. It's been out for about a year, but it's a relatively new service.
Okay.
Did you try it out at all?
No.
I didn't figure it.
Not even a little bit.
I can't expect you to actually research or search anything that I suggest. So.
Yeah.
Because I don't do it
Look,
for
man,
you. So.
if you can't watch the San Diego Comic-Con movie trailers, then what am I supposed to do for you?
I don't know. Tell me that I should be more prepared and that you don't want me to come in blind.
That's fair.
So Satchel is, like I said, it's been out for about a year now, but it's still budding. And it is a podcast app. And the idea driven behind it is to kind of get people in touch, not just with any podcast, but with local podcasts as well. Podcasting is really something that's blown up.
Yeah.
For sure. And even so much so that it's hit this area, which is usually 2 or 3 years behind the times. They're still working on stuff, but it's kind of like Patreon, but without the additional benefits so far. You can actually use the podcast player, search any podcast that you want. I think they pull from the iTunes catalog. And if your podcast is signed up with Satchel, you can actually make donations to them. Okay. So they have a one-time donation from $1 to $10. They are working on a monthly subscription thing where you can sign up to just, say, hey, here's $5 every month, whatever.
Okay.
That's still not available yet, but they're working on it. I think it's just like a 2-man crew working on it. So it'll probably take some time for it to spin up. But I think the player itself works really well. It's just a play button and a 10 minutes or a 10-second before and a 10-second back, or you can actually slide the slider to listen to different spots.
Okay.
If you wanted. And that's pretty much everything I need in a podcast app.
Yeah.
I mean, you listen to more podcasts than I do, so any extra cues in, because I totally link them. Or I totally say, hey,
I'll check that out because I use Podcast Addict for Android, and it's a good program. It's a good aggregate, but the player itself is irritating.
Yeah. So I think the player itself was simple enough. They're still working on the local side of it. They have the podcast when you sign up, put your area, like put your city, which is important, of course, for, aggregating a local area.
Yeah.
So when I typed in the zip code for this area, nothing popped up. So I don't know if we will now because we're the only ones using it. I don't know. But either way, you can go over to Satchel or download it on your Android device, or I think it's available for Apple as well.
Okay.
And, if you like the show, you can shoot us $1 if you want, or if not, you can just subscribe to us. That would work as well.
There you go.
There you go.
You're just putting your leg out right now.
Yeah, I know. And it was really long and drawn out, so I apologize for that.
Yeah, that was like getting a tooth pulled.
It wasn't that bad,
but
Brandon.
with your voice.
Shut up, you jerk.
You.
So until next week, ogres, keep your clubs blunt.
And your tusks sharp.
Good night. It just keeps wiggling. It's there it goes.
Are you flying for fashion?
Oui.
I keep going Eastern European. I've been doing an Eastern European voice a lot with.
Okay.
And now I can't stop doing. Like, all my accents go to the Eastern European voice. It's like a mix of Watto and a character from Grand Theft Auto 4, I guess.
Yeah.
Four flippant
Frenchmen fly from France for fashions.
You want to see my flippant friends? I have a whole warehouse full of them.
In Hartford, Hereford, and Hampshire, hurricanes hardly ever happen.
Hardly hurricanes. In Hartford, Hampshire.
In Hertford.
Hereford. In Hertford.
In Hertford, Hereford, and Hampshire, hurricanes hardly happen. Hardly. James just jostled Jean gently.
James.
James? Why would you do that? Jack the Jailbird jacked a Jeep.
Ugh.
Yeah.
In public?
That's what I was wondering.
They don't call me a jailbird for nothing.
Rawr. Kiss her quickly, kiss her quicker, kiss her quickest.
Kiss her quickly.
Kiss her quicker.
Kiss her quickly, kiss her quicker, kiss her quickest.
Yes. My cutlery cuts keenly and cleanly.
Okay, if you were to say those two things back to back, it is very strange.
Yes, it is.
Kiss her quickly, kiss her quicker, kiss her quickest.
My cutlery cuts her keenly and cleanly.
Dude, we need to save that line for a serial killer movie.
Right?
My cutlery cuts quickly and cleanly. Toughens the nipples, doesn't it?
Literally literary.
Literally literary.
Yes, literary.
Get fucking perfect, Red.
That's what I said.
Literally.
I gotta change the cat litter.
Gary Gygax gave great. What goes?
Gave great goblins.
There we go.
Yeah.
Add that to the list. Get a hold of
Hold on, let me
diction exercises.
Let me see if they've got I've got something to add to your list. Demonstrations, impromptu, thank you notes, free sample eulogies. What?
The only thing I have to say about Grandma is her cutlery cut
funeral speech
cleanly
collection.
and quickly.
Free sample eulogies.
If I die before you, will you work Gary Gygax gave great goblins and do your eulogy for me?
Yes.
Gary Gygax. And will you also say it like Hannibal Lecter?
Yeah, but I'd have to work on it because my Hannibal Lecter is not very good.
Gary.
This comes from Gilbert's. Oh, they've got the Pirates of Penzance Major General song. I am the very pattern of a modern Major General. Life, information, vegetable, animal, and mineral. I know the kings of England and I quote the fights historical, from Marathon to Waterloo in order categorical. I'm very well acquainted too with matters mathematical. I understand equations both the simple and quadratical. About binomial theorem I am teeming with a lot of news, with many cheerful facts about the square of the hypotenuse.
That's a pirate song?
Yes.
What?
I'm very good in integral at differential calculus.
How the fuck is that a pirate song?
It's from the Pirates of Penzance.
Yeah, what does that have to do with pirates?
Have you ever seen the Pirates of Penzance?
No. I assume it's pirates who are traveling to the port town of Penzance, a rough and tumble town, not unlike Tortuga from the hit Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Vincent vowed vengeance very vehemently.
Oh, Vincent. That's why nobody likes Vincent.
I know. He's so vehement about his vengeance.
Vincent, we get it, all right?
Two toads, totally tired, tried to trot to Tewkesbury. I like that one. I like that one a lot.
Two toads, totally tired, tried to trot to Tewkesbury.
Tewkesbury. Yes.
Two toads, totally tired.
Tried to trot shit.
Shit. Fuck it.
Fuck it all. 10 tame tadpoles tucked tightly in a thin, tall tin.
Was that yellow leather?
What?
Red leather, yellow leather, red.
Yeah, you repeat those like over and over again.
Red leather, yellow leather, red lorry, yellow lorry.
Red lorry, yellow lorry, red lorry, yellow lorry. Oh, 6 thick thistle sticks. 6 thick thistle sticks.
6 thick thistle sticks.
Yes. Sister Susie sat on the seashore sewing shirts for sailors.
Why do I give two shits what Sister Susie's doing? And why is she sewing shirts for 2 sailors?
Not 2 sailors, just sailors in general.
Oh.
Yes. Because she wants to make sure that they don't get sunburned.
She seems very intimate with these sailors.
She does.
If she's sewing shirts for them?
I would be more concerned if she were sewing underoos for her.
Because, like, they're using them up so much that their underoos are getting holes in them quicker than normal.
Perhaps.
The pirate's panties perturbed Parker.
Sister Susie Parker. See, now she has a first last name and a whole fucking litany of storytelling behind her.
Yeah.
Pearls,
made her
please,
canon.
pretty Penelope, pretty Penelope, pretty Penelope. Pearls, please, pretty Penelope, pretty Penelope Pring.
Pring?
Pring. Her last name is Pring. Pearls, please, pretty Penelope, it repeats 3 times. Pearls, please, pretty Penelope, pretty Penelope, pretty Penelope. Pearls, please, pretty Penelope, pretty Penelope Pring.
I don't like that one.
I don't like it. That's why everybody goes with Peter Piper. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. How many pickled peppers did Peter Piper pick?
You know New York. You need New York. You know you need unique New York.
Unique New York.
No, fuck.
You're terrible.
You know. I'm trying to do like subliminal messaging. You know New York. You need New York. You need unique New York.
See, you need to do that one softer than I'm doing the pretty Penelope Pearls.
You know New York.
I can't do it when you're making selling voices.
Will you become?
Round the rugged rocks, the ragged rascal ran. Round the rugged rocks, the ragged rascal ran. Reading and writing are richly rewarding. The shrewd shrew sold Sarah 7 silver fish slices.
Can this just be the episode?
Yes, I thought this was the episode.
Hello, ogres, and welcome to episode 89 of Dueling Ogres, and we're doing this for an hour.
We're doing this for a whole hour.
Buckle up. We put something in the file where you now cannot turn off whatever your listening device of choice is.
Yep.
You are locked in for this hour.
Yep.
And your headphones through nanobots are lodged in your ears. So have fun. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers.
10 tame tadpoles tucked tightly in a thin, tall can.
Tadpoles are not big. That would be either huge tadpoles or a very small tin can, right?
Yeah, but it's long, apparently, because it's tall.
10 tame tadpoles tucked tightly in a thin, tall can. Thin, tall tin. Oh, a 10.
Yes. What did I say? Did I say 10? I think I said 10.
I might have heard tin can.
Theophilus Thistler, the thistle sifter, in sifting a sieve of unsifted thistles, thrust 3,000 thistles through the thick of his thumb.
I'm starting to feel like there's no scientific basis for this. It's just people writing alliterative sentences.
Moses supposes his toes are roses, but Moses supposes erroneously, for nobody's toes are posies or roses, as Moses supposes his toes to be.
Oh. I kind of like just 6 thick thistle sticks.
Yeah. Should we do the show now?
This isn't it?
No, it's not really it.
So if you have any questions or comments or would like to hear yourself on air,
you can call us
at the Call Us Quickly, cartoonishly, catheter.
Like you went from a Q sound to a C sound, and they're not the same, Brandon.
But it's close enough. 6 thick thistle sticks. The sticks is not the same.
Your face isn't the same. The
Not
tip of the
anymore.
tongue, the teeth, and the lips. The tip of the tongue, the teeth, and the lips.
The
Brandon.
tip of the tongue.
The tip of the tongue! The teeth and the lips.
Over the lips. And through the gums.
Watch out, Danny, because here I come. Rawr.
Man, they're putting Jeremy Irons in anything now. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers.
Oh my god, I'd love to hear Jeremy Irons read these. That'd be amazing.
What would you do? Like not a Dr. Seuss, like a
I wonder if
Hans Christian Andersen style thing?
Maybe. I wonder if his performance would be as poor as it was in the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Oh, look,
Like,
they found
why
dragons.
am I even here doing this? They've paid me millions of dollars.